Hello, good afternoon, Alexandra. Very pleased to join you.
Youssef, it's extremely interesting, the commodities market, specifically in the past few weeks. I just want to kick off, what's driving the price action, in your opinion, right now in the past 48 hours?
Well, there's been very much speculation about what OPEC Plus is going to do in its meeting coming up this week. In the past, we have seen the price rally over the past couple of weeks, well, driven by, of course, the supply shortages that currently experienced in the market, especially when Saudi Arabia has taken something like 1 million barrels of extra cuts in February and March. And over the past just 48 hours, we've seen a just slight decline in the prices. That is because the market is expecting a boost from OPEC Plus coming up this week. And there's also being some concerns about China's PMI because there's some slowing down in China's, and also the uncertainty coming up in the US with the financial relief now not fully approved yet from the Senate. So these are the currently.
So we lost Youssef Al-Shamari.
Major factors that we are seeing, but I would say overall, the major factors is here. OPEC Plus cuts that are expected to be eased that's expected to be eased this week, and of course we have to also take into other financial factors, including the U.S. dollar index and the bond prices. Of course, these are all having a major impact when it comes to the oil markets.
Youssef, we've lost you for a second, so we couldn't hear everything. But do you expect OPEC to hike output, because this is what Russia would like, and on the other hand, Saudi Arabia, which is the de facto leader, is, how can I say, kind of supporting the opposite scenario, which is be cautious, guys. Youssef, do you hear me?
I think that Russia perhaps wants to see extra 2.5. Yes, I think Russia would want to see something like 2.3 million barrels per day, extra cuts coming to the markets this beyond March. While I think Saudi Arabia still is cautious about introducing these extra barrels immediately to the markets beyond March. So I would think here there needs to be a deal in terms of how much extra supplies the group will agree on introducing. So here there are two uncertainties. Will the group agree on the 1.3 million barrels cuts from OPEC Plus, and what would be the fate of the Saudi extra cuts? So would we see 2.35? I think that's the maximum we could see, million barrels. But also there's a scenario that we could see less than even 1.5 million barrels of extra cuts. And it depends, of course, on the price ranges. So if we see 2.3 million barrels extra supplies, then prices could go down below $60. And if we see below that, then I would think prices could stay between $60 and $65. So these are, I think, the major factors that will decide.
All right, we did lose. Sorry, a few of your phrases because of the connection. But anyway, I'd like to go ahead and ask you. So you do believe that there is going to be an equilibrium between the two major countries?
I think they would reach a deal ultimately, but on how much extra supplies, that remains questionable. Because here we have two issues. Because so if the group agrees on the OPEC Plus extra supplies, that is 1.35 million barrels, then that's great. But there are some unilateral extra cuts coming from Saudi Arabia, and this is totally independent decision that is away from the OPEC Plus. So what Saudi Arabia will decide, that remains uncertain.
I'd like to ask you one final question. Where do you see the crude oil price in the following 12 months?
Well, some banks have warned against price super cycles and expecting a price rally to reach $70 and more. But my own estimation is that as long as OPEC continues to hold something like 7 million barrels off the markets, I wouldn't expect the price to overshoot, be above the $60 60s. And also here, look at what consumers are calling for. India, for example, is complaining from the excessive rise in oil prices. Russia doesn't want certainly prices to be perhaps up in the 60s. It would want perhaps for prices to be below $60. And so I think we could be within the $60 range. So I don't think we can go to $70. But of course, there's also the possibility that we could go below $60 if we see the full supplies coming back from OPEC Plus this week.
All right, thank you very much. Youssef Al-Shamari, CEO, CMarkits, thank you for joining us. Have a great day.
You too.
Well, let's just have a very quick check.